sounds like, because I actually have an external mic plugged in.
Go ahead, Mommy.
That's so horrible. Is it?
Okay, I think we're good.
Is it gone? Can you
Yeah,
even hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Hold on. Is that
Wait, you're getting a dash?
Hold on.
What?
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
It was such a pretty dog.
Okay, I plugged in an external mic, which is kind of cool because I've never used that before. So that's so random, you guys. I don't know what happened.
Weird is that I can't get to the live chat. Where's the live chat, Rachel?
I don't know.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Jeez, it
Maybe
looks so like messed.
I know,
There's
yeah.
so many spines in there.
Mm.
Why'd you say holy puppy count Batman?
All right, here we go.
Mm.
All right, we're good. We're good in the hood. We are good in the hood.
Y'all,
guys.
somebody was hating. Okay, something happened. So did you guys get to hear what I was talking about the extension, or was that bad? Like, did y'all not get to hear that?
Did y'all hear any of it?
Yeah, did y'all hear any of it? Yeah, I have no. Oh wow, so some parts of the group, golly, so it is happening a long time ago. Okay, so short, quick answer, right? So the upper arm is determined by the length of. I need to learn my anatomy, but anyway, but here's the upper arm right here, right? We want, isn't that the scapula? I think it might be. But anyway, we want this bone here to be as long as the upper arm as this here, okay? You met from the top of the shoulder here down to the tip of the forechest, all the way to the elbow right here. And you want it to be 50%. 50% here, 50% here. Not all breeds call for that. And it doesn't mean that just because a dog doesn't have it, that it makes it a bad dog. It means that that dog may not have to have it. A lot of terriers don't have it.
For every dog,
Right.
dog has a use.
Right.
They were bred for a specific thing. The Corso is a working breed, and every working bred dog has a different thing that they excel in. And so all of these things regarding how the structure should be in our breed and like a German Shepherd or any working breed is specific to its duty,
Right.
what it was bred to do. So when those things are off, like in our breed, like the upper arm is shorter, which is a common problem that we are now paying more attention to. It effect on the functionality because the Corso was built to get where it needs to go without too much stride, too many
Right.
steps, you know.
And that's what this is. Yeah, that's this diagram. So
when the upper arm is shorter, it actually affects the amount of ground that the dog can cover when it reaches for the stride.
See, it cannot extend its front leg out far enough.
Yeah.
But this dog that has the better upper arm can, and that's what it is, right? Better extension, better movement, more efficient versus this dog, which is a more choppy kind of movement. And that's why we're looking for that longer upper arm, right? So there you go. That's about the front of the dog. And then I believe we already talked about the croup and the top line.
And these are things, like I said earlier, if you didn't hear it, that we're looking to better in our program. So when we let dogs go or we keep a dog, you know, we're really going deep into the science of what makes a Corso. And we're trying to build on that and preserve the original dog's function.
Right.
Because we the Corso is still a work in progress.
Right.
But there is a written way standard for the dog that we have to follow, and we have to be very mindful of if we're going to do this right.
Yeah. Highly, highly recommend this book, you guys. If you really want to know, if you really want to learn, the reason why this book is good is not only does it talk about structure, but it talks about structure for each individual breed and why it matters and why we're looking for the things that we're looking for. There are things that are wanted in some breeds that are completely faulty in our breed. And that's why we say when we pet a dog out because it has a fault for us, it doesn't mean that that dog is unhealthy. It doesn't mean that dog is going to break down. It may be something that other breeders breed for in their breed, but it's not something that we're breeding for in our breed. So if we tell you we're petting a dog out for a certain reason and it's not good for our program, you buying that dog doesn't mean you're getting a faulty dog. It means that
the best dogs,
yeah,
the best temperaments,
yeah, it just means that dog isn't what we are looking for per our standard. Okay.
Exactly. And what you should see, especially with the Corso still being in recovery, right now we're just trying to get things more consistent. Is with each generation we produce, it should get better and better and better. So each generation that we produce, guys, should get better. So don't sleep on these pairings that we're putting together.
Well, who is that?
That's Achilles, girl.
Girl, he is throwing a tantrum over there.
He's trying to scratch his back, girl, on my rug, on my beautiful wool rug.
He's tripping.
Yeah, he is tripping. Achilles, be quiet. You're embarrassing me. You're embarrassing me.
I was like,
and guys, like, he's a very serious dog, but intimately with my family, he acts a fool. He acts like a whole 6-month-old puppy.
Yep.
But Rachel has experienced Achilles on 2 occasions.
Yeah.
You want to tell them about Achilles?
Girl, so Achilles is awesome. So the first time I met him, he was very serious. He was he didn't quite know how he felt about me. But then we went outside and we played a bit, and then he was totally chill. The second time we met, he remembered me. He was totally chill. I think one of the dogs had run outside to go and say hi to my dogs because my dogs were in the vehicle. And so I grabbed Achilles' collar to keep him from going outside. And this is how stable this dog is. Doesn't really know me. He feels my hand on his collar. He looks up at me, thinks about it. He's like, I'm gonna let you hold that collar. He just looked forward, but you could see him being like, I'm gonna let you get away with that. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't want me touching that collar. Best believe he could have, you know, but he consciously looked at me and was like, you're all right.
I don't have a dog here that's a joke.
Yeah, he's a very serious dog. Very serious dog.
But very, very, very stable.
Yeah.
And very smart. But yeah, he wants to be a part of the live stream. Somebody said, what do you mean by the Corso is in recovery? It's in recovery. We're still working on it.
Yep.
That's what we mean. I mean, this dog, the recovery, started, Rachel, like 1970-ish, you know? So you have breeds that's been around for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
And this breed was around, but it was endangered.
Yeah.
And so it's like bringing it back from endangerment.
Yeah.
And it takes a while, especially when you're taking a dog like the Corso and trying to, I guess, bring it into consistency.
Right.
Like you see in other breeds. Like, I can't agree, like, across the board, people are confused because you see so many types of Corso and so many different temperaments. And no breed of dog should be like that. But that's where it starts. And you have to bring it into consistency into one dog.
Yeah. And I mean, in reality, like, too, there was a lot of you know, there was a lot of irresponsible breeding going on. And so when you have a breed that's rare and then you have a bunch of irresponsible breeding happening, basically there is no progress. So just because the breed has been around a long time doesn't mean that it's not that it's not still in danger, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, exactly.
you really have to have good breeders working towards a common goal. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, in this breed, there is so much controversy over what is correct. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
So
like,
much that it affected our breed club, and now our breed club is working very hard to get us together so that we're not split in 3 and 5 different ways, that everybody's working towards one goal.
right.
Yeah, it's that bad of problems in our breed, and people that want pets, they don't realize the problems. But if you're involved like we are, you do recognize at some point there is a problem, and it's really people coming together and working towards one goal, and we really don't have that right now, but we're really trying to get there.
Yeah, and there's the thing. I saw somebody talking about are they mixed with boxers or blah blah blah.
There was mixing. There's mixing that goes into any breed before they are a purebred dog.
Right.
And the same with this breed. It's just that it's happened instead of happening very, very, very early on, because we're in recovery. We're building the breed back to its glory, or into its glory. It's more recent.
Right.
Than other breeds. There's some breeds that can't even be traced back to anything but the wolf.
Yeah.
And we are not that breed. So,
Go.
And that's where the differences come from in type, because you'll see influences from other breeds in this breed because the mixing was so recent. But now that we've been introduced into AKC, for America, AKC is only in America. It had to stop there.
Right.
It should have been stopped, but for sure.
Exactly.
The stud book is closed. So.
And the reality is, I know that some people may not like the fact that there is boxer in the lines or bull mastiff in the lines, but the reality is that happened in Italy. The breed club at the time, the SACCS, knew that the breed needed an underbite. They're supposed to have an underbite, and so they were having problems with maintaining it. Unfortunately, the scissor bite and the overbite is actually more of a dominant bite. So in order to maintain the underbite, and which is important to maintaining the muzzle, right? Like, that was something I had to learn about. When I first got into the breed, I was very anti-boxer looking dog, right? I didn't like them. I didn't want them. And I didn't realize, and I was told by my mentor, he was like, Rachel, if you keep breeding for that long muzzle, you're going to lose your breed type, and you're going to end up with a really long muzzle, because the long muzzle and the overbite, scissor bite, is actually dominant over the short muzzle and underbite. And what ends up happening is you get dogs like Blondie, right? And so that's why you have to have these, what we call hyper-type dogs. Hyper-type are the ones that
with Achilles. That's
right.
What she did. So she took a dog that was what, hyper-type is also kind of overdone.
Right.
There are different terminology that we use in that, but those dogs can bring back your muzzle length, and they can do all sorts of things in your program.
Preacher.
You certainly don't want to discount those dogs either.
Yeah,
because at this
they're necessary. Both are necessary. You can go in extremes in either way. In Europe, people know that the boxer looking dog is also not, that's not what people want either. The problem is that you'll get dogs that people think are boxer, but what you're actually looking at is too short of a muzzle and too round of an eye. When you get that really round eye and you get that really short muzzle and that really round head, that lends to look like a boxer. Does it mean that that is a boxer or even a boxer mix? No. It means that breeder isn't doing good selection process to eliminate those faults. So you need to make sure that you're choosing the right eye, that you're not going overdone with your muzzle, that you're paying attention to your head type. You can take, in both recent, I have seen it, very good dogs, and with bad selection, end up with a dog that looks more like a boxer, and having done nothing else other than just choose the wrong puppy every time. So it's
Absolutely.
you know, it's something to
It's
keep in
all
mind.
about selection. It's all
Yeah.
about making good selection.
Exactly.
And, what are you here? Atari has an underbite, right? Is hers still too pronounced? Rachel can.
Yeah, she does have a pronounced
that.
underbite. It's not what I would consider to be DQ. I'm not worried about it because, as you guys know, I actually have a problem with not having underbites in my lines. I have very long muzzles. As we just talked about, I was able to fix Blondie's head type and produce a gorgeous litter of puppies off of a dog that has that same bite, same head type. So, in fact, she's very much like her father. So I'm not at all worried about it. Now, would I take her and would I breed her to a dog that looks just like her? No, because that would produce extreme hyper type dogs. I'm not trying to do that. So it's important that you look at every dog you have and you breed them to the best match. You literally look at them and you say, okay, this dog has this thing wrong, or not wrong, but this fault, this fault, this fault. Okay, well, let's find a dog that is strong in the areas where this dog is weak. How can they complement each other? How can they fix each other's, issues, right? That's how you do it. You don't ever just breed big to big. You don't ever just breed color to color. You don't ever just breed bloodline to bloodline. That's another big problem people have. They'll look at the bloodline. They'll be like, oh, this is straight blah blah blah. This is all Belmonte, 100% Belmonte, and they only care about the bloodline. No. That's another mistake. You need to breed the dog, the individual dog to the individual dog. And you have to take into consideration the past, like the phenotype of the past, but that's what you've got to do. That's the important part.
Yeah, and Achilles is posted on my Instagram. I actually posted a short video clip.
He looks really good. You guys can see where I got that correct top line and structure off of Achilles from looking at that video of him. And the length, amazing dog. Amazing dog.
He's a very intelligent dog. He's off of the earlier Sangue lines.
Yeah.
Which I really appreciate and love.
Yep.
My stuff. I love their newer stuff too. Like Melina's off with the newer stuff. Batista's off with the newer stuff. But I still have an appreciation for the older stuff as well. It's wonderful.
Yep.
Very stable dogs, very smart dogs.
Yeah, they in genuine, they really are. We're very, like, I would probably say that in the end, Sangue is probably going to be a pretty strong cornerstone in both of our programs. We have pretty much in the end, probably everything we have is going to have some of their stuff in there because their structure is so good that it's just like you need a little bit of Sangue in there, man. Like,
and the breeder is phenomenal.
Amazing person, amazing,
person. You couldn't find a better person. I absolutely love her, and she was so hospitable. And good to us when we went to visit her. Can't wait to see her again, Christina. If you're watching, cannot wait to visit you, girl. And Antonio, we miss you too with your crazy parrot.
Yep. Yep.
What are you and Reese?
Yeah, and I mean, and I'll say this, you guys, like, there are other breeders that are getting on YouTube, specifically for this breed. And we really tried to teach you guys about structure. But what I don't want you to do, please don't go to that breeder's channel and say, oh, well, this dog has a bad this. Rachel from Senza said this. Blah, blah, blah. Like,
that's not what we're trying to
it's
do.
going to make them hate me. I don't need that. You know what I mean? Like,
if you don't like somebody's YouTube channel, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Don't watch it. Don't leave your comments. If you don't have anything good to say, just don't say it at all.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I get it. Understand structure, appreciate it. You'll be able to see things that other people can't see. And that's awesome. That is my goal, to teach you structure. But not even we see stuff, but we don't say anything. You know what I mean? Because it's not our place. It's really not.
Everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere, and we're not here to spread any type of bad vibes, hate, whatever.
Yeah.
We just want to open the viewer's eye to what we're looking at.
Yeah.
When we're selecting for our program.
That way you can choose a good dog too. You know what I mean? Like the important part, our goal is for you to be able to choose the best dog, for you to have that eye, not to go and try to tell other people. I will say that there have been times that I would like to be able to help people, but I think that it's a difficult thing to be in, because, for example, like Reese helped me a lot, right? Like I had Preacher, great dog or whatever, you know what I mean? And initially I really wasn't going to do the show thing, and she kind of convinced me to do it. And then in that process, I had to learn when Preacher gets beat, right? There's obviously a reason for that. And so then you start to learn about what is wrong with your dog. And initially it was hard for me, right? Because Preacher was my love. I loved him so much. And to me, he was perfect, and he was all this stuff. And it was very difficult for me initially to accept the fact that Preacher had anything wrong with him. You know what I mean? Other than I knew that his muzzle was long and pointy, right? And I was lucky that I had somebody as supportive, as nice, and as patient as Reese to help me understand that critiquing a dog and understanding what is faulty about that dog is not a criticism. It's not an insult. Okay. You can't breed better dogs unless you can be honest about the dog that you have and what's wrong with that dog, so that you can breed better dogs. And
it's all about clarity. You have to be able to see your program with clarity.
Right.
That's what it's all about. And you have to realize through the process that not everything that you have is typically what you want to end with. And that's the goal, is to get better and better and better each time. But you have to realize too that no dog is absolutely perfect. You can get better, but it'll never be 100% perfect. Like, that is rare.
Right.
That is a rarity that we are all striving to produce.
And I mean, it's just not even possible. Like,
yeah, but it's not even possible.
There's no perfect dogs.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just not yet.
And my dogs have flaws. You know, everybody's dogs has flaws, but you know, it's all about seeing your program with clarity to move forward. And in this breed, it is very important, because this is not an easy breed to breed in a competitive manner.
Right.
It's just not, because there's just hardly any consistency out there. There are programs with consistency, but it's not consistent like as Siberian Huskies in a sense. You know, like I would say, like, you can go to anybody's program and a Siberian looks like a Siberian. Yeah, there are reasons why some are better than others, but they look like themselves.
Exactly.
Our breeds vary, so it's very important to see your program with no blinders, absolutely with just 100% clarity, and make the hard calls.
Right. And that's why I say that, like, you know, were Preacher's faults like horrible? No, absolutely not. And would they even be faults in other breeds? Some breeds actually look for that, and there are benefits to his issue. For example, his croup being short and steep like that actually is very good for a dog to be able to do very fast, quick turns, like almost like what you would see on like a quarter horse, right? Where it has to kind of tuck its butt underneath it and stop and turn on a dime and stuff like that. It's actually great for that. Yeah. So it's an asset in some things and not necessarily in others, but mostly it's just not our breed standard.
Yeah, for our breed, you know, like I said, the function of the dog, it's a science between the structure and the function. So all of these things are in the standard about how the dog should be built, because our dogs were created for a certain function.
Right.
So that's why the standard calls for a certain way that our dogs are built, should be built.
Exactly. And so on, what I meant to say by all of that in the end is that are there breeders that I think don't care? and are going to breed whatever they're going to breed because all they care about is money? Absolutely. Are there other breeders that may care? Sure. But the question then becomes, with such a sensitive subject, how do you reach out to that individual to let them know? And even, is it even your place? That's something that Reese and I talked about. You know, she reached out to me, not even about critiquing preacher structure, but helped me to kind of raise my game, right? And
I actually reached out to her to use Preacher.
Right.
And through meeting her, we became friends. Preacher ended up not being specifically what I needed to breed to. But we connected and we started talking, and she can tell you, I eat my dogs up. Yeah. I eat them up. You know, the same critiques I give her, I critique my own dogs the same way. So I do not discriminate.
No, she's so tough that she didn't breed Achilles until he was, what, 6 years old almost, because because it wasn't good enough for her. And I don't mean, and I say good enough, I shouldn't say that, that's the wrong word, but she just has, you know, the difference between us is that I was never in the show world and she was. So we come from different sides of breeding, right? I bred dogs for more of like a working purpose, like a working structure. I knew what's good and what's wrong, but not necessarily those types of things. Like I said, there wasn't anything wrong with Preacher in the sense that there's nothing about him he's not gonna break down. He's a very healthy dog, very, you know, great dog, but not necessarily to the standard, right? Very close, not that far off really, but not exactly, you know what I mean? Like you have to be able to know exactly, right? Fine tuning. And she helped me to be able to do that. And so what I will say is that while we would love to be able to help people, it's some people care and some people don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so it's not up to us to kind of push our ideology onto other breeders. As long as they're breeding healthy dogs and they're adhering to their contract and they're being good to their puppy buyers, that's really all anyone can ask from a breeder. Every breeder has their own choice to breed what they want to breed. And we don't get to judge them and say they're a bad breeder or shouldn't be breeding because they're not doing what we're doing, if that makes sense.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody asked about dilute breeding, Rachel.
Yeah.
So why shouldn't you breed a dilute to a dilute? There's many reasons why.
Yeah, it's because you're breeding recessive genes. When you breed recessive genes, you are going to be producing like usually immune system issues. So a lot of things that hit, that's why if you Google it, they used to call it blue dog disease. So there are some issues that can come up with breeding dilutes. Now, I think that you can breed dilutes safely the same way that you can breed, say, Merle safely. Merle is a breed that is even more pronounced. It is a color or a pattern that should never be bred together. You should never breed a Merle dog to a Merle dog. If you do it, there are issues that can come. Now, some people will do it anyway because they'll say, well, it doesn't happen every single time. That's kind of like saying, go ahead and smoke cigarettes because not every single person gets cancer, okay? Just because it doesn't happen to every single person or every single dog does not mean that behavior is not dangerous. So for the same reason that you should not breed a Merle dog to a Merle dog, you should not breed a dilute to a dilute. It's just, sure, is every dog going to have skin issues? No. But you know what? Enough of them will. And if you continue to do it, then you're really playing with fire.
And I've never really seen in this breed, honestly, like, there aren't too many dilute dogs in this breed that would even warrant a breeding like that.
Yeah, most people that breed for that are usually not even very good knowledgeable breeders. So they're typically color breeders. They'll pick puppies off color with no regard at all for structure or type. like me, for example, right? Like I get it. People like blue dogs. I like color variety, right? Like some breeders take it too far. In Europe, there are some breeders, they never produce dilute. No, they don't want it. They don't have it, right? So, you know, in fact, the breeder that I'm buying my male from doesn't ever produce dilute. I get it. People like it. And I definitely want to breed for me and for people, right? So there is a male in America that has really good structure. He is a blue dog. So yeah, sure. I may choose a dog that has really good structure, really good everything, and choose him over, say, another dog that has really good structure, really good everything, because he is a dilute. But I would never choose him just because he's a dilute. Okay?
Yeah.
Like he has to have everything else going for him, and then I'll infuse that dilute. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take him another dog that's not a dilute, and I'm going to breed that dog to the dilute dog, right? So, for example,
exactly.
Trinity. Trinity's mother is a dilute. Trinity's father is not a dilute, but his mother was a dilute. So the odds are she probably has the dilute gene. In order to produce a dilute, which is a blue or a Fermentino, you have to have the dilute gene on both sides of the pedigree, okay? Both parents have to have the dilute gene in order for you to produce a dilute. So what I'll end up doing is I'll probably take Trinity, I'll breed her to that other really nice dilute that's here in the States, and the odds are that I'll produce dilutes off of that. And if I produce a really nice dilute off of that, then I may keep that dog. I may not if it's not the best dog in the litter. But nonetheless, that is a safe way of bringing dilute into your lines in a good way. There's a that breeder we talked about, Sangua Magnifica. She has one of the most beautiful dogs that I've seen in a long time, and she just happens to be a dilute. She's a blue dog, solid blue dog.
She was kept basically just off the type and structure.
Yeah, she just happens to be a blue dog. Yeah.
Christina has produced dilutes in the past, but I would say very few, because she's not breeding for color.
Yeah.
She's breeding for correct structure and phenotype.
Right.
So you know, don't call her asking for color either. Don't call me, don't call Rachel. I mean, if it happens, it happens. And if you end up being the person that is blessed with that dog, so be it. But we will always try to set you and the dog up for success.
And truthfully, like that, what she did it takes a little bit longer, right? Because you're not breeding for that color. You're just breeding for good structure while introducing the genetics for that color to pop itself up. Yeah, you may not get as many blues as maybe you want, but when you do get it, it's actually usable. You know what I mean? Like it's something that is actually something that will benefit your program. You're not taking any steps back. So it really comes down to taking the shortcut or taking the long way. A lot of times the long way is the best way. It may not happen the way that you want it to or as quickly as you want it to, but this is a long game. Breeding is a long game. If you want to do it right, you need to be patient. And so sure, you know, I could refund somebody's deposit and I could keep a blue puppy right now out of Preacher and Cashmere's, you know, litter. Right now I could do that. I could keep a dilute and I could keep breeding blues because everybody wants blues and I could just keep doing that. But I'm not going to do that, right? That's not what's most important. I'm going to keep Trinity because Trinity was the best that I had produced at that time. That's why we kept her back. The odds are she'll still be the best of what's produced out of that. And I, knowing she has the dilute gene, can responsibly look for a male that either has the dilute gene or is a dilute himself that has great structure. And I'm technically kind of breeding with color in mind, but I'm not breeding irresponsibly because I'm breeding for structure. And so I can produce color and structure. So I don't want to demonize anybody that moves their program in the direction of producing certain colors. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to demonize people that like certain colors, but it is important that not be your main priority when you're breeding dogs, right? So that would be the difference.
Thank you, Charlotte Harwood, for answering that question about fawn.
Did somebody ask about it?
Yeah, somebody asked like breeding a Florentino to like a fawn dog. You know, fawn is not a recessive gene.
No, fawn is dominant, you guys. Fawn is fawn is dominant. That's why when I bred Blondie, I pretty much had all fawns. Formentino is fawn with the dilute gene on top. So yeah, be careful with fawn. When you're breeding fawn, be careful with it because you're gonna get a lot of it. Yeah, you can have a whole fawn program if you're not careful. Mm-hmm. How'd you find that? I used to be pretty.
You still are pretty, girl.
No, girl. I'm gonna send you this. Savannah found this. I used to smile. I used to be pretty. You were smiling.
You tripping?
I'm getting old, you guys. If you're getting old like me, get a what is that thing that you told me to get? Get a Clarisonic.
This heifer, how long ago to get a Clarisonic?
She did.
I was like,
she
Rachel,
did.
Get a Clarisonic. You're not gonna regret it. She's like, okay, girl. And then it's like a year later. Girl, I got me a Clarisonic.
Yeah, girl, open up that message and look how pretty I used to be.
Oh my God, girl, you're still beautiful. You tripping?
Not like that. I'm not. Not like that. I'm not.
Girl, you are beautiful.
Not anymore.
Everybody
smile.
No.
Everyone compliments your beauty because you're beautiful.
Not like that though. Come on now, you gotta admit. That was pretty.
Story hitting. You're still pretty. I'm 20, just had a baby, feel horrible about myself. Girl, do not feel horrible about yourself. Having babies it's like the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. Let those
20s.
battle scars be trophies.
I don't know. I might have been in my 30s.
Wait, no, check it on your Twitter.
That you're still in your 20s,
I don't have
girl,
Twitter.
You can snatch that back. You can snatch your body back, girl.
It said you had a Twitter. Did you have a Twitter?
Yeah, I don't know when that was. Girl, that was before my eyebrow game.
You had eyebrows.
I had no eyebrow game back then.
Oh, girl. We both fucked our eyebrows to like non-existent. So like when people used to say, you better not pluck because you won't have any left. I didn't believe them.
Yeah.
Now we both need to go and get the microblading.
Yeah.
She was scared to get that. She's scared to get that done though.
She's gonna get it done because I'm coming up there. We're gonna get it done. She needs to stop playing. She knows I did not play those games.
That's so pretty.
You guys are gonna get a tattoo.
See, it's so
together,
crazy.
Right?
Like back then, I didn't think I was pretty, and now I look at it and I'm like, oh, I like spent all my time judging myself. And now I look at it and I'm like, but I really was pretty. I wasted my pretty days thinking I wasn't pretty.
And now you're going to be 90 and you're going to look back at these videos.
I know. I'm going to be in my 90s and I'm going to be like, I really was pretty, but I thought I wasn't pretty. Oh, Lord Jesus. Oh, Lord Jesus.
I'll tell you one thing is take time out for yourself, girl. When you have a baby, like it's so easy to kind of lose yourself for a little bit because it's all about the baby. But it's okay to take time to yourself. Put your baby down for a nap. Get you, something you really like to eat that's a treat. Watch some TV. Just take an hour out for yourself a day. Don't lose yourself, honey.
Don't you dare make me a Twitter account. I don't want Twitter.
For your weekend, our eyebrows microbladed. We're going to go live.
Bro, I don't need Twitter.
26 in that photo.
I was 26.
When I come to Texas, we're going to We're going to do a tattoo. We're going to get microbladed. There's a lot of plans. Rachel, you better save about $1,000 because we're doing it.
Girl, no, I'm good, girl. Just let me know. We're going to go.
We're doing it all. We're going to live stream it.
I can't believe that, y'all. I'm getting old. Sorry, I need to quit tripping. Savannah, don't show me pictures of my youth. Gosh. Sorry, y'all.
She is tripping. Hey, I'm going to tell you, man, 40 is a new 20. That's what that is. Take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself,
Yeah. Oh, you guys.
Can y'all do me a favor and convince my landlord to let me have a dog? Girl, you better get a new landlord or buy yourself a house.
Exactly.
That landlord situation when they don't want a dog, it's a bad situation, especially a Corso.
Yep.
They're like, get out.
Exactly. Yep.
Did you see the update on this earlier?
So, like, okay, I'm gonna tell you about the Chinese crescent. So, when I first got married, I was given 2 Chinese crescents from a friend of mine, a long-time friend of mine, named June Seeley. She gave me a hairless girl that named Maya Joe and a powder puff boy named Elvis. And I had them for, I would say, like 5.5 years. And my father passed away.
Quiet.
And we went to,
Quiet.
I guess we went up to see my mother-in-law, kind of deal with that whole situation. I took my 2 crescents, and they seen that my mother-in-law was grieving, and they clung to her. And and she asked when we had to leave because she kept having her best friend the body at night. And so she asked me if the crescents could stay with her because they made her feel secure and they were some comfort during that time. And so I left them with her, and she ended up taking them forever. And so now they're her dogs, and she loves them very much. So Elvis and Joe are with my mother-in-law. She's bonded to them. They're bonded to her. So I do have a crescent when it's time to rub the lotion on. Whenever I visit, I groom them because I am a professional groomer. So when next time I go up, I will rub the lotion on the skin. But yeah, they're like comfort dogs to my mother-in-law.
I could have sworn last time I searched up Hatch 22A, there was a picture of that. There it is, right there. That painting you did. But that one wasn't yours.
That's where I got it from.
But that one looks worse than yours. Her eyes look crooked. Like weird, you know? So you got it from that artist?
Hey, Aaron, do you want to say hi?
East Van Dal.
Yeah, come say hi. No?
I mean, you could.
I could have what?
Give me one.
Okay, well, next time. Next time you can say hi. If you want microblading, get it. You only get to walk on this earth once. So get it. I like Mexican hairless too. They're really cute. I love the primitive breeds. My husband's all mad. He's like, you done caught me off guard, girl. He wants to come to bed. I do these live streams in my bed because I'm just like real spoiled like that. So everybody gets kicked out and I get to do my live stream and have recess time. You want to say hi, baby?
Hello.
Oh, look at him, Mama. Oh, you didn't get to see him.
Who?
He was on.
Who?
Her little redhead.
Aaron.
Oh, Aaron. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Rachel, what's up?
Good. Nothing much. Reading a post. Huh? Yeah.
I'm down there watching and learning myself.
There you go.
Yeah, he's ready to go on the bed, guys.
What is going on here?
What?
Preacher, be quiet, dude.
Velocity shush.
Yeah, dude. The dogs are tripping.
Oh, yeah, somebody said, oh, dang, Reese got herself a snack. Girl, I got myself a meal. I got myself the meal. Rachel's going to have her meal one day. We're praying. Like I said, I shout out to all the men out there that's working and sexy that, you know, can give my girl a date.
Girl, yes.
and pay for her coffee. All right, Carl, I know what you did. I know what you did, Carl. And Carl knows who he is.
Velocity
Carl
shush.
knows exactly who he is. He invited this woman out.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Invited Rachel out. This man named Carl. And I told her, I was like, girl, Carl. Anyway, he invited her out for coffee. They talked, had coffee, and then like he's like, oh well, I guess we'll just split the bill. He would even buy her coffee. Like, if you're that dude, do not hit my girl up.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
The least you can do if you're gonna invite a woman out is pay for her coffee. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't no man. That ain't even a child. I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Yeah, it was pretty bad, y'all. He told me that he didn't think that since we went for coffee that it was a date.
Yeah, Carl. He let her know. He was very clear that he was not a provider. I don't know what is going on in America right now, but women, you know, we need providers. I'm not saying that the man has to be the money winner, the person making all the money, but it's a partnership and it works both ways.
Well, and he also told me how he had he was like talking about his ex-wife, how his ex-wife on the mortgage and how he had like a bankruptcy or something or foreclosure or something on his credit, like all on the first date or non-date, I guess it was. And then like all the stuff. And then had the audacity like
any woman off. Like,
yeah,
he's looking for like a sugar mama.
It didn't work.
Know if a sugar mama would want that.
Didn't work. He lived off of
sniffing pies. He ain't working a pie shop sniffing pies.
Yeah, yeah. He
I'm your anger.
He was retired military and was in school. And when I talked about working and all that stuff, he basically said that the reason why he didn't want to work was because he felt like it was like the man, right? And like he didn't want to work for the man, and like
you don't want no scrubs.
Yeah, and like he didn't want to be like he didn't want somebody to be like I don't know, it's hard to explain, like he didn't want to work under somebody. And I was like, I kind of told him, I was like, well, why don't you just make your own business? Like, why don't you just become a business owner, like stuff like that? And I was like, sometimes you need to like work a job to be able to build something else. Like, that's what I did. I worked at a company. I worked for my sister's company, working with foster kids and foster care agency, and saved up and got Preacher and then got Cashmere and was able to build what you guys see here by being an employee somewhere. And I think that if you're motivated and you want more, then you'll figure out a way of doing it. And you can't see yourself as a victim. You know what I mean? That's not going to get you anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, you really need to have a kind of entrepreneurial spirit to you, where you're constantly looking ahead and seeing how you can grow and advance yourself. And you can't do that unless you're willing to sacrifice a little bit as well and work to do something. No one just built a business out of nothing, like, unless your parents are just like millionaires. You know what I mean? Like, if you are like the average person, you're going to have to put in some footwork in order to be able to build something more than that. And
exactly. Like, I don't know what is going on, but there is women that's looking for husbands, and they ain't nowhere to be found. I've seen celebrities talk about it. It's bad. But
I mean, for me, yeah, like, I don't mind being the breadwinner, I guess. Like, it's not a big deal to me, so long as that individual is working hard. And I'm all about like working together to like build something. So, in the bread or whatever, that's fine. You know what I mean? But would I appreciate somebody that's constantly looking forward to see how they can do themselves, and maybe, maybe, yeah, sure, I'm the breadwinner, but maybe like you're like doing something to kind of advance yourself, or like, maybe going to school or whatever it is. Like, it should be a team effort to constantly be improving. I'm sure that there are people, and I don't have a problem with it, who they're just happy. They're doing what they're doing. They don't want nothing more. They're content. They're happy. Their bills are paid. That's fine. Me, I'm kind of always striving for more. I'm trying to always kind of better myself and really just strive up that ladder as far as I can go. And I think that I would need to be with somebody like that, because I'm always doing that. I have a hard time watching somebody just sit there and be like, whatever, I'm fine with whatever I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I would need somebody that is willing to do more, but I don't mind helping that person do more, if that makes sense. So,
oh yeah, this person just didn't want to do anything. Like, the man was against him. The world was against him. He didn't want to do anything now.
Yeah.
If you're on disability, like, that's totally different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, this is a person with no drive, hardly a personality.
Girl,
I mean,
yes.
come on.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna ask a woman out on a date, and she just wants a simple coffee, and you can't even pay for that? Like, that's ridiculous.
It was bad.
I told Rachel when I was in high school, I had guy friends, and I'm like, literally just guy friends, and they never let me pay for anything.
Well, let me tell you this. When we went to Europe, oh my God, talk about a man. They paid, the men there, they paid for everything, and it was like it was their pleasure to do it. When we came in, they couldn't get up fast enough to give us the seat. I was like, my heart is like, oh God, I need a European man. And on top of it, they're bigger, like taller, and like everything. I'm like, man, let me find out. Let me find out. Let me bring me a Serbian man over here. Let me tell you something. You bring your ass over here, and I will marry your ass. I will get you your little green card. You know what I'm saying? Like, bring your fine ass over here.
She almost found out.
Woo! Yes.
I was like,
yes.
Let me leave you at the bar.
Yes, I'm dead serious. You bring your European booty right over here, baby. I will take care of you. You take care of me. Woo! That's what I'm saying. Like, oh. I'm telling you, like, yes. Yep. Oh no, the noise is back. No. Is it still doing it? Gosh darn it, what is that? All right, I'm ending it. Bye. I'm sorry, y'all. Haters gonna hate. Bye. Sorry. Bye. That is so